Thank you for tuning into Game Changer TV. I'm your host, Terri Lynn, and this is the channel where every day we're telling it like it is. Today is June 15th, 2026. It's early in the morning, so I'm pretty tired. But I have to ask, is Trump bankrupting the nation on purpose? Let's jump into this. Cato Institute, bankruptcy gradually, then suddenly? March 18, 2026, the national debt just crossed $39 trillion, almost doubling since Trump vowed to erase it. How much money has Trump wasted on vanity projects like the UFC cage fight and the ballroom and the reflecting pool and statues? The collective cost of Donald Trump's highly scrutinized Washington, D.C. beautification and legacy projects is estimated to be between $700 million and over $1.5 billion, depending on the final congressional spending approval and private funding splits. These projects, widely criticized by political opponents and watchdogs as expensive vanity endeavors, span several high-profile initiatives across the nation's capital. $200 million on the ballroom. Now it's ballooned up to $1.4 billion for the final estimated cost on the ballroom. The cage match, $60 million. $1 million. Lincoln Memorial Pool, $1.7 for the filtration system. The monuments, $5 million. $100 million for his arch. So is he just spending like a drunken sailor to get whatever he can out of it because he's about to sabotage the country? Is he wastefully spending to further bankrupt the country? Do you think it's possible? March 23rd, 2026, 3 months ago, the Treasury just declared the United States is insolvent. The media missed it. The U.S. government is insolvent, and that's not hyperbole. That is a conclusion drawn directly from the Treasury Department. Scott Bessent, who is pro-digital currency. Elon Musk warns America, this is June 15, 2026. Elon Musk warns America will 1,000% go bankrupt. What does Elon Musk know? From a week ago, the U.S. economy, the U.S. will 1,000% go bankrupt. This was December 27, 2024. Tesla CEO Elon Musk issues U.S. bankruptcy warning amid call for a Bitcoin-inspired fix. Y'all write that down. Are they purposely running America into the ground so that they can file bankruptcy? Like people that can't pay for their car notes and they fake it being stolen, or they set it on fire because they're trying to get out from underneath something. Are they purposely sabotaging our economy and our financial system to bring in something new?
At the rate he's spending, America will be Trump's 7th bankruptcy. Everyone knows he bankrupted 3 casinos and 3 hotels, and yet this Congress has given him a blank check. In just 18 months, $1.6 billion all in for his ballroom, $250 million for his Arc de Triomphe, $20 million for a botched redo of a reflecting pool, $400 million to refit his new Air Force One, $257 million to fix the Kennedy Center, $300 million for golf outings. We don't know how much for the cage fight on the South Lawn, $5 billion for Venezuela, $132 billion for Iran, and God only knows what else he's got planned. $139.8 billion in total, and that is a low-end estimate. In the meantime, he's cut $1.5 trillion in Medicaid and Medicare, and increased the national debt by $3 trillion. Now, there's only one foolproof way to stop the crazy spending spree, obviously.
We are watching Trump's 7th bankruptcy unfold. Is he purposely destroying the country?
What if I told you Trump had already taken $50 billion out of the U.S. Treasury and spent it? All as part of what looks very much like a pay-to-play scheme to finance his vanity project. And I'm not making this up. A brand new report from the government watchdog group Public Citizen looked into the private donors who are supposedly funding the Trump ballroom as a gift. Guess what their investigation found? Quote, more than half of the publicly identified donors to President Donald Trump's White House ballroom project have won new or expanded federal contracts worth more than $50 billion during the past 6 months. The report also found that most of those same companies are also facing federal enforcement actions over alleged wrongdoing, and that some have had such actions suspended by the Trump administration since the start of Trump's second term. So just to put a fine point on this, these rich donors and corporations gave Trump $400 million to build his ballroom. And then, according to this report, the Trump administration gave those rich donors and corporations $50 billion in taxpayer money in new or expanded government contracts that they were not getting before. And to top it all off, the report says the Trump administration dropped enforcement actions against a few of the companies as well, as if they were paying into a state-sanctioned protection racket. Now, the White House denied a pay-to-play arrangement. But by every appearance, this certainly looks like a duck, and it walks like a duck, and it quacks like a duck, too. But that's how Trump sees the federal government. He thinks the federal property and taxpayer money are all his to play with.
If the United States government bankrupted on our debt, could a digital currency be used as a reset? Yes, a digital currency could theoretically be used as part of a reset if the U.S. government defaulted on its debt, though it would fundamentally change the economy. A digital dollar would allow the government to restructure the financial system by managing money supplies and attempting to inflate away massive debt. Hypothetically, yes or no, if the U.S. government bankrupted and digital currency became the new currency, could that evolve into a digital implantable RFID chip? Hypothetically, yes. While an implantable RFID microchip is not currently required for digital transaction, the foundational technology and infrastructure required to make such an evolution possible are already in active development.
We're about to abandon the traditional system of money and accounting and introduce a new one. Perfect record of every single transaction that happens in the economy.
The general population is not shifting to a new financial system. It's shifting to a control grid.
CBDC can allow government agencies and private sector players to program, to create smart contracts, to allow targeted policy functions. For example, welfare payment. For example, consumption coupon. For example, food stamp. By programming CBDC, those money can be precisely targeted for what kind of people can own and what kind of use this money can be utilized.
The central bank will have absolute control on the rules and regulations, and also we will have the technology to enforce that.
It's no longer a financial system or a currency system. It's purely a digital concentration camp, whether it's a banking account or a credit card, and it can be turned off and on.
The end of cash, and every transaction you make would be transparent and held on a permanent database. Digital IDs are essential to the project. Data on every detail of our lives will be monitored, stored, and monetized. Nothing, but nothing, would be private.
February 12, 2026, from the UN. While we need a global economic reset, They're talking about it. Trump's financial reset, why Democrats are quietly backing Trump's financial reset. Trump just started the biggest money reset since WW2. Trump wants a great monetary reset.
Will be a huge shock when Americans won't hear. This reset will be a huge shock when Americans catch on. That's why the average person won't hear a word about the story until it's obvious to just about everyone. And by then, it's going to be too late.
Yep.
In the months ahead, central banks around the world are planning to go digital. Many of the legacy banks you've heard of, where you probably even keep your money, like Bank of America, Chase, Citi, Wells Fargo, they're about to be reset, overhauled by a new type of technology called fintech, which is short for financial technology.
Yeah, can I ask, what exactly does that mean for the banks and all of us, you and me?
Essentially, it means the function of our banks is about to change. They probably won't raise public suspicion about it by changing the signs on your bank's branches, but according to my sources, the Federal Reserve will soon own all the banks, and your local branch, it's simply going to be like a licensee of the Fed. In other words, the banking infrastructure is being rebuilt from the ground up, and very few Americans are aware this is even happening. We are right on the verge of a once-in-a-generation opportunity to profit by investing in the companies that are building out the architecture for this massive shift.
And what I find funny is The Simpsons, which we all know is greatly for making these predictions or predictive programming. Again, showing you the truth.
Chip! What do you mean the bank is out of money? Insolvent? You only have enough cash for the next 3 customers. Hey,
just a second here. No, I don't have your money here. It's in Bill's house and Fred's house.
Hey, what the hell you doing with my money in your house, Fred?
So I'm a Bank of America and everybody's missing money. I'm also missing money over $1,300 and they're telling me to call customer service. And they keep hanging up on people. This another person here is also missing money. So we're trying to see what's going on. Money's missing today and we need our money. And they're already telling us to call customer service. And customer service ain't doing nothing about it. So
many Americans are unaware that behind the scenes, the technical backbone of the financial system is decades out of date, many, many years out of date. You know that. Paul and others are straightening it out, but payments and money transfers are costly and take days or even weeks to clear. Under this bill, the entire ancient system will be eligible for a 21st century upgrade using the state-of-the-art crypto technology. Who would have thought we would have been saying that 2 years after?
If the United States government bankrupted on our debt, could a digital currency be used as a reset? Yes, a digital currency could theoretically be used as part of a reset if the U.S. government defaulted on its debt, though it would fundamentally change the economy. A digital dollar would allow the government to restructure the financial system by managing money supplies and attempting to inflate away the massive debt. Yes or no, under Trump's new financial system, is it possible that the technology in RFID chip wallet implants could be used? Yes, it is possible from a technological standpoint, as RFID and near-field communication chips are already used to store digital credentials and interact with financial systems. Has Don Jr. invested in XRP? Yes, Donald Jr. has exposure to XRP through his large stake in Thumbs Up Media Corporation. Thumbs Up is an ad tech platform that acquired 350,000 shares of Thumbs Up, and the company aggressively holds XRP alongside other digital assets in its corporate treasury. And I've shown this many times, XRP has the implantable chip.
Welcome to our Hackathon project video, where we showcase our innovative solution for the future of digital payments.
So Trump said our financial system is out of date, and Ripple says they're going to show you the future of finance and payments.
To our Hackathon project video, where we showcase our innovative solution for the future of digital payments. Our project is called How Ripple CBDC Chip Implants Can Transform Your Life. Ripple is a company that provides solutions for central bank digital currencies, CBDCs, and stablecoins, which are digital versions of fiat currencies that are backed by reserves or assets. Ripple's CBDC platform offers a comprehensive platform for minting, managing, transacting, and each solution is built on a private ledger that is based on XRP ledger technology, a proven blockchain that has transacted over 70 million times over the course of 10 years, and is trusted by financial institutions around the world. Ripple is currently working with more than 20 countries on CBDC plans, including Palau and Montenegro, who have chosen to partner with Ripple to create their national digital currencies. One of the key benefits of CBDCs and stablecoins is that they can enable faster, cheaper, and more inclusive payments for millions of people who are unbanked or underbanked. According to the International Monetary Fund, IMF, CBDCs in developing countries have the potential to bank large unbanked populations and boost financial inclusion. But how can you access these digital currencies in a convenient and secure way? That's where Ripple's CBDC chip implants come in. A chip implant is a small device that is inserted under your skin and contains a unique identifier and a secure cryptographic key. With a chip implant, you can store, send, and receive CBDCs and stablecoins using your own body as a wallet.
Don't that sound like the mark of the beast? Something in your hand so that you can buy or sell.
And receive CBDCs and stablecoins using your own body as a wallet. You can also use your chip implant to authenticate yourself, access services, and make transactions without the need for passwords, cards, or cash.
Amen to the smile. You niggas fine.
The U.S. crypto reset. Can digital dollars save a $35 trillion debt? Is Donald Trump moving the U.S. towards a digital currency? Yes, Donald Trump is aggressively moving the U.S. towards a private sector-led digital asset economy, aiming to make the nation the crypto capital of the world. Through the 2025 Genius Act and executive orders, he is promoting Bitcoin, stablecoin, and digital assets while simultaneously banning the development of government-run CBDCs. Yes or no? Would it be against the U.S. Constitution if a president created an alternate financial system counter to the Federal Reserve? Yes, Article 1, Section 8 of the U.S. Constitution, Congress holds the sole power to coin money, regulate the value thereof. The president creating an alternative, CBDCs, cryptocurrency, stablecoins, the Trump coin, a president creating an alternative competing financial system would likely be viewed as unconstitutional executive overreach that infringe on Congress's legislative authority. Yes or no? Could it be perceived that Donald Trump and his sons are creating an alternative financial system against the Fed? Yes, Donald Trump Jr. and Eric Trump, co-founders of crypto platform World Liberty Financial, have publicly framed traditional banking as a Ponzi scheme, creating a strong perception that they are building an alternative financial system that sidesteps legacy federal institutions. And his sons are heavily invested in digital currency, creating an alternative financial system that is unconstitutional. And President Trump, as the president, is moving the country towards a financial system that his sons are creating. Donald Trump is aggressively moving the United States towards a private sector-led digital asset economy. Marjorie Taylor Greene says he's moving us towards the mark of the beast.
She says here, Congress is secretly pushing for a cashless society, citing the mark of the beast.
The groundwork is being laid, currency that can be controlled by the federal government. I've read the Bible and I believe what Revelations 13, 16 through 17 says, and I just cannot vote for a future system that will do that.
Marjorie Taylor Greene shreds Trump-backed crypto bill. I'm not voting for the mark of the beast system. Marjorie Taylor Greene leaks Trump's crypto bill to the biblical end of time.
So while everyone has been paying attention to this circus, our president has signed into law the National Defense Authorization Act. And for those of you wondering the significance of this, it was a critical step in ensuring that we win the 6G race, whatever that means. The technology that I quote will play a pivotal role in the development of things like artificial intelligence, robotics, and implantable technologies. And of course, also under the guise of national security and public safety. So as you guys were watching these clowns at America Fest, which just so happened began on December 18th, Trump was signing this act into law. And if you don't feel like Googling, here it is. Are you starting to understand what's happening now? So,
could a digital wallet on your phone become an implanted RFID chip in the hand that Trump's legislation is writing for implantables? Yes, a digital wallet can functionally become an implanted RFID chip in your hand.
Is the US secretly planning to reset its 37 trillion debt using crypto? Yes, you heard that right. $37 trillion. That's more money than the entire economy of China, India, Japan, and Germany combined. And some analysts believe America has found a backdoor deal with this massive debt through cryptocurrency. Look, I know this sounds like something straight out of a conspiracy thriller, but here's what's actually happening. In just the past 12 months, the US has done a complete 180 degree on crypto. They have passed landmark stablecoin regulation, started building a strategic Bitcoin reserve, and are quietly turning every digital dollar transaction into a way to strengthen their financial grip. Even a Russian government advisor called this an economic conspiracy in a recent interview. And get this, stablecoins already hold tens of billions of dollars in US treasuries. What if I told you that every time you use USDT or USDC, you might be unknowingly helping America manage its debt crisis? Think of it like this. Imagine you owe your friend 10,000, but instead of paying them directly, you convince the entire neighborhood to use a special token that only you control. Suddenly, everyone needs your token to trade, and you have turned your debt into a leverage.
Yes or no? Can a new digital financial system and social credit score system run on personal data? This is why they're scooping up all of our data. This is why the data centers, they need the data to run the algorithms to control what we buy or sell. Yes, a digital financial system and a social credit score system can seamlessly run on personal data. In fact, large-scale data collection, such as spending habits, online activity, biometric identifiers, and payment history, forms the foundation for tracking and scoring behavior. The flock cameras, you're in the wrong place at the wrong time. You bought the wrong thing at the store. You said the wrong thing online. They need massive amounts of data to penalize you. Yes or no? Could our personal DNA information be used in a digital currency? Personal DNA information can be integrated with digital currencies and blockchain technology. It makes me wonder if the nasal swabs, I've talked about it in 2020 when they were doing the nasal swabs, and I refused to do it and told them they know where they could stick that that swab, and it wasn't up my nose. That's how you collect DNA for paternity, is either in the nose or a mouth swab. They were collecting DNA, and they had your name, and they put it with the sample. And your personal DNA is going to be part of the new digital financial system. Yes or no? If a company owns the DNA of every person, would they have a lot of control over digital finance? Yes, if a single company controlled the DNA of every person, they would hold unprecedented power. Having the genetic blueprint of the entire global population would provide immense leverage to monopolize healthcare, track identities, and potentially link biometric data to digital finance. Yes or no? If a company owns DNA of every person, would they have control over digital finance? I've put it in there twice. Yes, they would. Does Blackstone own a DNA company? So Blackstone is owned by Steve Schwarzman, and they separated, and BlackRock developed under Larry Fink. But now Blackstone owns a DNA company with everybody's DNA. So when they said, oh, y'all, turn in your DNA and see if you're of German heritage, if you're of Swedish heritage, how many people jumped on it and turned it in? Yes, the private equity firm Blackstone owns the consumer genomics and genealogy company Ancestry. They acquired it in a massive deal. Blackstone finalized its acquisition of Ancestry for $4.7 billion in 2020. Almost $5 billion to have people's DNA that will be part of a digital financial system. Steve Schwarzman is the CEO of Blackstone. Is Steve Schwarzman a member of the World Economic Forum? Yes, Steven Schwarzman is an active participant in the World Economic Forum, WEF. And I did a video a couple of years ago that Steve Schwarzman is a Skull and Bones member, the Brotherhood of Death, 322, and he's one of the 13 most powerful men of Skull and Bones. And he owns people's DNA. 13 most powerful members of Skull and Bones. I can't get to it. I just typed it in, 13 most powerful members of Skull and Bones. Business Insider, the 13 most powerful members of Skull and Bones, class of 1969, Steve Schwarzman. And now a member of the Skull and Bones, one of the 13 most powerful members, owns people's DNA. Who bought 23andMe? Following the 23andMe bankruptcy filing, TTAM Research Institute, a nonprofit organization founded by 23andMe co-founder and former CEO Ann Wacholip, I don't know how to say her name, purchased the company and substantially all of its assets for $305 million. Steve Schwarzman paid almost $5 billion. She got a deal. And she is a member of World Economic Forum, just like Steve Schwarzman is a member of World Economic Forum. And they're holding everybody's DNA that will be used in a new financial system.
The Russian and American presidents are now speaking the same words. They are telling the same lies. We are watching the collapse of the international order in real time, and this is just the start. Coups are like concrete. When they stop moving, they set. It is already later than we think. This image, some of you in this room might know these people. I call it tech bros in hostage situations. It's a message to you. This is Putin's playbook. He allows a business elite to make untold riches in exchange for absolute loyalty. Some people are calling this oligarchy, but it's...
When she said this is Russia's playbook, she's talking about Trump is using Russia's playbook.
To make untold riches in exchange for absolute loyalty. Some people are calling this oligarchy, but it's actually bigger than that. These are global platforms. It's broligarchy. There is an alignment of interests that runs through Silicon Valley to what is now a coming autocracy. It's a type of power that the world has never seen before. It's always the data. It's the crack cocaine of Silicon Valley. You know, the first thing that Elon Musk did was to send his cyber troops into the US Treasury to get access to the data. That is not a coincidence, it's a hack. That data is now feeding AIs that are choosing who to sack and who to replace. Eliminate fraud and waste. When we broke the Cambridge Analytica story about the harvesting 87 million people's Facebook data, people freaked out, rightly. This is chicken feed compared to that. But it is the blueprint. It's always the data. Which is why it's so important that you start thinking about your private life. The oligarchy doesn't want you to have one. This is the old headquarters of the East German secret police. They kept detailed files on almost 1 in 3 of their citizens. That is nothing compared to what Google has on every single one of us and hundreds of other companies. The entire business model of Silicon Valley is surveillance. It harvests our data in order to sell us stuff. We are already living inside the architecture of totalitarianism. It may not have been deliberate, but we now have to start acting as if we live in East Germany and Instagram is the Stasi.
Could the collapse of the US dollar usher in a digital currency? Yes, the collapse or severe debasement of the US dollar could usher in a digital currency. Are y'all ready?
Many Americans are unaware that behind the scenes, the technical backbone of the financial system is decades out of date, many, many years out of date. You know that. Paul and others are straightening it out, but payments and money transfers are costly and take days or even weeks to clear. Under this bill, the entire ancient system will be eligible for a 21st century upgrade using the state-of-the-art crypto technology. Who would have thought we would have been saying that 2 years after?
Instead of carrying your wallet in your back pocket or your purse, a tech company wants you to keep it under your skin.
All right, so let's explain here. Walletmore is selling microchips implanted in your hand as an alternate payment. Could this be the future? Maybe. Once you set up your card info in the company's app, look at this. It says payments could be as easy as swiping your hand over a card reader.
Listen to this.
Is Trump purposely collapsing the old financial system to bring in a new financial system that will be supported, that supports RFID chip implants? This is starting to sound prophetic. And he had power to give life unto the image of the beast, that the image of the beast should both speak and cause as many as would not worship him, not worship the image of the beast, should be killed. And he causeth all, both small and great, rich and poor, free and bond, to receive a mark in their right hand or in their foreheads, and that no man might buy or sell save he that had the mark or the name of the beast or the number of his name. Here is wisdom. Let him that hath understanding count the number of the beast, for it is the number of a man, and his number is 666. We are at the door. We are at the door. I love y'all. Thank you for watching. Don't you take no implantable digital wallet. I love y'all. Thank you for watching. If you appreciate the content that you find on this channel, would you prayerfully consider supporting the ministry?